in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
My faith is the one which has kept me alive and which gave me strength to fight.
The kind of person I am, I never thought anything really drastic or serious is happening to me.
Well, life is all about attitude, and we can be who we want to be. It's all in the mind.
I was never a very positive person. Whenever there was something, I would come up with some negative issue and make a big thing about it. But ever since I've had this cancer, I think I've become more positive.
Thy hands are stretched and plead, forgive me if I hug my mother before thee, because I love my mother and there can be no other.
There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So I was sure that if I'll cross this tunnel, I'll find light there, and that's what happened.
Well, it's been about 6 months, and I was actually sleeping in the afternoon, dozing in the afternoon, and I felt something very funny, a kind of sensation. And just my hand went there, I touched it, and it felt odd.
Probably I did not feel it earlier because it must have been small and little deep rooted. But on that fine day, probably it was in its full glory and it was nearly as big as my palm.
At 10, I get a call from this doctor, and in a very low tone, he just told me, Jula, you need to come back tomorrow.
I never even dream about, breast cancer. To be very frank, I have not heard about breast cancer.
We rushed to the doctor. We knew. This time, my husband was convinced that this time, Lavi, you are caught.
The doctor told me, don't look. Don't look at the report. Bring it to me straight. But curiosity is always there. So I opened the report and I saw that, cancer positive.
I didn't want to hear that word. Yes, it was malignant. It was a crazy moment.
Just the name, destroys you right there, right at that moment.
Upsetting part of it all was breaking the news to our son.
She was stunned, and then the first thing she asked me, she says, has it spread all over?
And just for me to sit here and think that he's going to have to go through this on his own was very difficult.
To see somebody whom you love to be so helpless and cry out for help is the most devastating thing anybody can experience.
I saw my mom lying there, and the first thing I noticed that her over here there's this big patch.
My nails were oozing with some septic, and my pigmentation started for me all around my eyes and my hands.
In my case, I don't think I'm bold enough to make that statement, to walk on the streets of Delhi bareheaded. I couldn't do it.
I cannot, even if I want to, see that scar because it's just too painful for me.
I'm not so strong like her.
It is difficult, no matter how brave you are.
I was not scared for myself. I was too scared to die because I have this small child, who was only 5 years. I look at her and I said, no, I am going to fight. That my strength came from there.
I could see my older son's face darken a bit, but there he was standing. And the statement that he gave me then was, Mama, breast cancer is treatable, so get it treated. Don't worry.
My support system, the biggest is my husband, of course, because without him, I don't think I would have been able to go through the treatment. Yeah, and then he never make me feel that I am a patient. He always treat me the same. He didn't treat me different.
She is and she will always be the prettiest girl, and the girl I married.
Quite tough to see your parents go through something so hard. Yes, you hear a parent's account of how tough it is for them when they see their child suffering. But it's just as tough for a child to see their parents suffer.
Greatness is sometimes not what you accomplish, it's what you overcome. I'm still breathing. Those few last words, I'm still breathing, show how accomplishment can be viewed in a different way. And I think that fits exactly to her journey.